we make sure that we understand all the meanders of life, and we make sure there's transparency, accountability, and sanity in every story that we're making. Yes, today's topic is understanding or the dynamics of parenting. And in any country or in any society, it's quite important, because if we don't have a generation, or if we don't do parenting in quite a better way, we shall be losing, and we don't have people who we can rely and depend on solely. Because if the foundations that we set are not good, we won't trust, or even we won't bring up a generation that is worth in our country, in our age, in our era. So tonight on YouTube is TLP TV and Somba Jeff the Legend on Facebook. Kindly follow us, and we shall make sure that you understand. We shall make that sure that you grow in every story that we're making. And so tonight, to make sure that we understand the whole topic and the whole story of parenting, we have one who will never miss you in any discussion or topic that we shall be making here, and he is a guest who will make sure that you understand the issues that we find in parenting. Welcome to EBN TV, sir.
Thank you very much for having me.
Yeah, welcome. How was your day?
My day was good.
Yeah.
I thank God for everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, this far, it's good.
Yeah. Now, let's know who our guest tonight is.
Okay, thank you, viewers. My name is SAMSON KIOKO.
Yeah.
My profession is I'm a training consultant.
Yeah.
I'm a married man. I'm blessed with 2 beautiful daughters.
Yeah.
And a wife.
Yeah.
And I would say that God has been so faithful.
Yeah.
He has brought us this far, and I thank him for everything.
Yeah.
So thank you so very much for inviting me again to this show.
Yeah, you're most welcome. And this is your second time being on EBN TV.
Yes,
it's a privilege, and again, it's a privilege to us, because whenever we bring, as we said, sanity in the stories that we're making here, is that we want to make sure that someone outside there is being challenged or even encouraged in one way or the other. And we have old parents, we have or even old people in parenting, and we have young people in parenting.
Yes.
So it may become a challenge to both of them, either old in bringing up or even in parenting, and to the young parents also. Now, to start from the base, what is parenting?
Thank you for that question.
Yeah.
I want to start from a biblical perspective.
Yes.
The Bible says that children are a gift from God.
Yeah.
Meaning that the sons and the daughters that we have don't belong to us.
Yeah.
We've been given by God. And because God has given us, it is our responsibility to raise them.
Yeah.
It is our responsibility to take care of them.
Yeah.
And as a parent, having this gift, you have every responsibility to ensure that everything that takes to bring this child in the ways of God is undertaken. Yeah. Now, when I say so, there are different aspects of parenting that are critical. And it is important to understand parenting is not just taking care of your son or your daughter. It calls for ensuring that this child develops, ensuring that this child grows. Now, this calls for mental development, social development, emotional development, and spiritual development. So it encompasses so many things that will bring this child to a level where they become mature, or to a level where they can stand by themselves. It is a process that involves different things that a parent has to undertake in order to ensure that this child becomes who God intended the child to become.
Okay, and I think that is a great definition, because sometimes we may struggle with the jargon parenting. We may take it as easy as a parent, or even we take the STEM part of it and we say it's just parent and that's all, or even we take it as a point of providing for the family or children, and it stops at that point. But by ideas, you've known that there is the issue of physicality, the issue of spirituality, the issue of mental health, and a lot of components when it comes to parenting. I think you understand what you are told, or even what our guest is trying to explain to you. And again, you find there are parents who, there are different styles and patterns of bringing up our children when it comes to the issues of parenting. And one, I think that they are four, but they are two very close to one another, which brings a kind of a confusion, whereby we have the authoritative parenting and authoritarian parenting. Yeah, so let's understand. each by type.
Okay. When you talk about parenting, it varies from one parent to the other.
Yeah.
And again, it is directly influenced by the environment to which you are raising these kids.
Yeah.
And again, it is influenced by the style that you choose as a parent to raise this kid.
Yeah.
When you talk about authoritarian, that comes from the word authority.
Yeah.
Meaning that as a parent who is authoritarian, when it comes to parenting, you become that authority to this child, meaning that you will dictate, meaning that you will direct, meaning that you will provide the way and the child has to follow. Now, to become an authoritarian to some extent is good and it is bad. Again, it depends on the generation that you are raising. The generation that is we are raising today cannot be governed by a father who is authoritarian. It will be so hard for them because for them they need a parent who will listen, a parent who will give them a chance to speak their mind. So authoritarian is good, but I think it is passed by events. It cannot work at the current state. Now the second one is
authoritative.
Now, an authoritative parent, to some extent, will create an environment of fear. Because if you become so authoritative, it means that nobody in your house who has a voice, or a child has no voice. It is a responsibility of the child to listen to what the father says or what the mother says, and they don't question, or they don't get into an argument. If the father says this is what you're supposed to do, they have no choice but to follow that. Again, it depends on the generation, because things are changing very fast. The way I was raised is not the same way I can raise my children today. Things have changed. The thinking of these children has changed. The approaches in lives have changed. The influence that these children are getting on a day-to-day basis are great. So there are things that can work and things that cannot work. Yes, you can choose to be authoritative, but at the end of the day, what influence are you creating in this child? If they get to a level where they find that their father or their mother cannot listen, what they will do, they'll just keep quiet. They'll listen to whatever you tell them, they will do. But at some point, they will rebel against that, which may not be the right thing for a parent to receive from the child.
Now, when it comes to authoritative parenting, what will make a parent be such?
I think
and maybe a dictate from the children.
I think one factor that influences that is the environment. The environment where you're raising those kids. Because most of the times, kids will learn from the environment. They will learn from the people they get exposed to. They will learn from other kids while they are playing. So if you're in an environment where there are certain behaviors or certain characters that come as a result of that environment, then a parent can choose to be authoritative because they don't want to have their kids being influenced by other kids or maybe by the forces of that environment. But they choose so because they want to instill a discipline that they think is the right discipline for the kids. So I think that is one of the factors that influences on the same. Then number two, the upbringing of this parent could be again a force because they would think that because I was brought up this way,
in a manner, in such a manner, they have to repeat.
I have to do the same to my kids, which may work or may not work. So it depends.
Now, out of the two, which one is better than the other?
I think both can work, but to some level. Without overlooking the fact that today we are raising a generation that is well versed with information, a generation that is better in terms of their thinking, in terms of their reasoning, in terms of their approaches and such. So because of that, a parent who chooses to choose either of these styles must be careful on how to implement or to put in force these styles to the kids that is raising. Because at the end of the day, what should be your focus as a parent is to bring forth a child who will be, one, disciplined, a child who can stand by themselves, a child with a direction and with a focus. And that is directly influenced by what style you use. I'll relate this to a working environment. If a manager chooses to be authoritative, the style may work, but not for every employee. If they choose to be authoritative, it can work, but not for everyone. Because you may find a situation where the people you are managing are better than you. They can think, they can make better decisions than you. So if you choose that kind of style, it may reach a point where they now begin to work against you, which may not be right, because you need to get the best from these people. So it all depends with who are you parenting, and which is the best style to parent them. And again, to what extent are you supposed to use either of these styles?
Okay, and on that note, I think it is not the wish of every parent to see their children missing in the good events or in life. So would any parent wish things don't work well for their children?
I don't think there is any parent who would wish so. But at times, the responsibility that we have as parents, even as the Bible says, you train up a child. It is your responsibility to train them. It is your responsibility to show them the way. If you show them the way and you tell them what they are supposed to do, they may not understand when they are young. But as time goes by, what you are telling them will begin to make sense. So if you train them, that thing will stick in them. And they'll get to a point where they begin now to question, why is it that my father used to tell me this? Or my mother used to tell me this? Why is it that they always advocated that we need to go to church? Or maybe we need to do ABCD? That will now begin to make sense in their lives. And they may choose now to follow the way that
and maybe this may happen after things are not working well for them.
It may happen, yes.
Yeah, because sometimes you may rebel or against an authoritarian or even authoritative parent in a way that you feel they are discriminating or even mistaking you in one way or the other. So you won't understand until you're left alone, or even you're left in college life alone, and then you have to think, okay, this, and actually when you find yourself in a situation that demands that you follow maybe what your parents taught you to do, I think that is the only time this someone who did not expect or even absorb their parents being authoritarians or authoritative, this is the only time they can think back and reflect and see, oh, okay, I could have absorbed this and this could have framed me as I would be right now.
I think it would be so unfortunate for a child who realizes when it is too late that what their parents used to tell them was the right thing. It is so unfortunate. But again, there's always time for change. There's always time for change in mind, change in behavior, change in character and such. So when that time comes and they now choose to follow the right way that was what was instilled by their parents, well and good for them. It is never too late.
It is never too late. So on that note, I wanted to shift to, I think that is why I asked that, because you see, we have got parents who, in case your child asks you for anything, no matter how expensive or even how dangerous it may look for them after you purchase it, they won't care. So they go just buying anything. So what it is taking us to another parenting style and pattern, which is a permissive parenting style. So that's why I asked whether kuna mtu anaweza fikiria after mateso zimemgonga vizuri. So let's know what permissive parenting means.
Now, I'll relate this one to the permissive will of God. Let's start from there. Now, God has a perfect plan for each and every one of us. But at times, it reaches a point where we want to dictate to God what our life should be or what our plan should be. And maybe through prayer, you always ask God, please God, do this and do this and do the other. And God will allow. He will allow the permissive will. He will allow it to happen to you. But at the end of the day, The challenges that come with that is because you now deviate from what God purposed for you. And you now follow what you requested God to do for you. The same applies when it comes to parenting. A child may request for everything and you provide everything. He may request for the most expensive stuff and you provide for that. But now what is the implication of that when the child gets to a level where they are now supposed to do everything for themselves? Or maybe it is important as a parent to bring a child to the realization that things don't just come by. Or maybe it is not everything that is obtained on request. It is important as a parent to let the child know there are days when I will say no, and there are days when I will say yes, with or without justification. And you know, if a child realizes that my father will question everything that he requests, they'll now be a bit reserved when it comes to requesting. They'll now look for other ways of approaching their father or approaching their mother if they need something from the father. But if you become so free, if I would say, that if a child says today I need a car and you buy a car, if a child tells you today I need to fly to America and you do that, then this child will not realize that the money that the father has does not just come. It is money that the father works for. So they may think in life things come so cheap or things come so easy. So when a time comes for them to stand by themselves, it will be a challenging thing for them. So being permissive is good and it is not good. So a balance has to be kept.
That's true. What are the advantages of the permissive one? Because I think when I said that we need a stone rigid society, I think most of the parents, when it comes maybe mostly to the young parents, I think they are relying too much on the permissive parenting, because you may say, I don't want to cross with my child. I don't want to make my child feel like, or even the life that I was brought up through, I don't want them to go through the same life, the hard life, the challenges. So what are the advantages and disadvantages of permissive parenting?
I think I'll start from the point of, I don't want my kids to go through what I went through. That is good. It is good for us to raise the standards for our kids. But again, our parents never raised us the way they did because they wanted. It is the situation then. Now today, the situation maybe has changed for some of the parents. So if you are privileged, maybe to give your child the best, I'll not say don't give them. Give them, but have a balance. And again, let them understand that even if I'm providing whatever you need, then it comes with a cost. Let them understand that a time will come when they will now be supposed now to provide for themselves. If you allow your child maybe to get anything at any given time, in their minds they'll be so convinced that things are so easy. Life is so easy. But life can change. Maybe today as a parent I may be wealthy. Tomorrow things may change. If they change, will this child survive? Will this child cope with that new environment? So keeping a balance between what I can do and what I cannot do for now is important. Because remember, we are nurturing these kids. We are raising them to become parents tomorrow. So how we raise them will directly influence how they will become in the future. So we need to be so careful about being permissive in everything that we do. Remember, it is our responsibility to shape the character of these kids. So if you shape them in the right way, they will benefit in the future. If you don't shape them in the right way, they will suffer in the future.
Okay. Now, on that note, because of that, some of the parents being so permissive, what is the effect of technology on parenting?
A very good question. Now, today, parenting has been replaced by social media. You will realize that parents don't stand as parents today. Parents don't create time for their kids today. Technology, and especially social media, has replaced parents.
Yeah.
Kids are learning more from social media than from their parents.
Yeah.
And this is dangerous because what they are learning from social media may not be of benefit to them.
True.
What they are learning from social media may not shape them the way the parent expected them to be.
Yeah.
And I would say this is a failure to our parents.
Yeah.
Technology is good.
Yeah.
Social media is good. But we need to ask ourselves, what is the implication of the things they are learning from social media to their life in the present and their life in the future?
The future, yeah.
If you're not so careful, then you will groom or you raise a person who is shaped by experiences of others, who is shaped by what they watch, what they read on social media. And at the end of the day, it may not be well for them. So a parent has a responsibility now of keeping a balance between my time and time for social media. Because your time is important than time for social media. What you can tell them is out of experience. It is out of what you know. But what they get from social media is out of other people's experiences, which may not be right, which may not be wrong.
And because of the issues of competition that we have in life, and that is pushed into social media, you find people will pretend or even they want to be what they are not. So which gadget should we give to our children?
I will not dictate the gadget to give. It depends on what you can afford. But again, there is the parental control. In every gadget that you buy for your child, there is a parental control, depending on the age of that child. So if you know for sure, my child cannot handle this, then control is important. You can buy them whichever gadget, but monitor what is it that they do with this gadget. Because today, whatever you need to know, whatever you need to watch is right on that gadget. So not until you tell them the benefits and the disadvantages of this gadget, then they may go to whichever site, they may listen to whichever information and such, and that will affect them in a negative way. But I'm not saying that social media is bad. I'm not saying so. There are benefits from social media, but there is influence that is created by social media which may have some negative effects on the raising of a child. Now, what is important for a parent? Let parenting be parenting. Don't let technology take your place as a parent.
Now, the effects of the gadgets on our bodies.
In terms of
in terms of maybe eyesight, in terms of mental health, and in terms of spirituality too, because sometimes you find a lot of pop-outs, which maybe it is not something maybe you wished, but it defines your child. What is the effect? Health-wise and spiritual.
Number one, our kids are spending much time on these gadgets. Now, these gadgets are good, as I said, and these gadgets are bad. Remember, it is a machine. This gadget is a machine. And a machine can affect you in one way or the other. It can affect your hearing system. It can affect your sight and such. So, if there is no control on how long you're supposed to use them, then with time, it may affect you in a negative way, which may not be the wish of a parent. But again,
you can continue.
But again, not unless we educate them on the negative effects of these gadgets, they may not know. If, for example, a person will spend the entire day on a gadget, they may not know the effect, because the effects are not immediate. The effect come with time. For example, hearing effects, you will not feel them now, but as time goes by, you now begin to hear those effects, which again may affect you in a negative way, even as you grow.
Now our mind is a control tower of our body. So do you have any effect from technology and most of the gadgets that we are using? Actually, the time is so prolonged. So do we need to have a schedule for the gadgets, or what should we do?
Now, our minds is a control tower, as you've said. Now, whatever information that gets into your mind, either through seeing, either through listening, or whichever way, because they say our minds are fed through the 5 senses. So whatever information you feed your brain, whether you like it or not, will shape you in a positive or in a negative way. Now, one thing about information, once it gets into you, there is no way you will delete it. It will be there. It will shape your behavior. It will shape your character. It will shape so many things about you. That is why it is so important for you to be so careful about, what do I listen to? What do I see? Because you may say it was a short video. But now, what is the implication of that short video to your thinking, to your reasoning, and to your thinking?
And how does it affect your life, or I want to mention your lifelong, or even the life that you shall be living? Because maybe you've said, whatever you've received, it is very hard for it to be deleted. So it takes a lot of time there. And maybe you're not busy, you're not engaged in different things. So you have to stick on what you keep saying on the gadgets. So it will affect you negatively in a big way. Because I think that is one way or more ways the devil is trying to use people, or even to damage the lives of people through the gadgets. Because more of the pop-outs. Because it's something that you would not wish, but it is just happening. So remember, our audience, you are watching the Spheres of Life, and the topic is understanding the dynamics of parenting. And if you want to get us, you can get us through our social media platforms. That is Somba Jeff the Legend, and that is Facebook, and TLPTV, that is YouTube. On tonight, we are dissecting some of the or part which is very important in a life and in a society. So thank you for watching, and thank you for listening to this show. Welcome. So we have another aspect of parenting, which is neglectful parenting.
Now, one of the key things that we need to learn as a parent, or one of the key focus that we need to have as parents, is to ensure that, one, we are there for our kids. Because I'll give an example. The first boyfriend to a daughter is a father. And the first girlfriend to a son is the mother. Now, your presence is key for these kids. If you're there for them, there is quite a lot they will learn from you. Because one thing I've realized is that children will learn more by observation. What they see in you is basically what they will do. That is why, as parents, we need to be role models. If you're not a good role model to your to your kids, don't expect any other person to be. Now, neglecting your responsibility as a parent is wrong. Because, for one, as I said, children are a gift from God. So God has blessed you with these kids. You have the responsibility of ensuring that whatever it takes for this child to become what God has purposed for them, you do it at all costs. This calls for sacrifice, because as a parent, you need to sacrifice. And one thing that you need to sacrifice for your kids is your time. Spend time with your kids. It may be few minutes, but the few minutes that you're spending with them, you are creating a lasting impact in their lives. If you neglect them, if you are never there for them, remember, they will be shaped by other things, other forces that you may have no control. They'll be shaped by social media. They'll be shaped by their friends and such. So it is not right for a parent to neglect their responsibility, or even to neglect their children.
Okay, what are the responsibilities of a parent to their children?
One key responsibility is to provide for them. Basic needs. If you are able, ensure that your kids get the basic needs. Number two is protection. Remember, these young kids don't think, don't reason, don't know what we know. It is your responsibility to protect them. What are you protecting them from? You are protecting them from any negative influence that can be from within and from without. You are protecting them from companies that are not right. You are protecting them from any works that may create some negative effects on their lives. Then number three, responsibility as a parent is to mentor these kids to become who God purposed them to become.
Yeah.
Now, this mentoring is a process.
Yeah.
Because as I said, they learn through observation.
Yeah.
So they are looking at you. They are monitoring your behaviors. They are copying from you. They are following your steps. So if you're not careful, if you're not careful on what to do, what to say, then that will create something in their lives. Yeah.
Okay, and that's very true. Now, sometimes in the issue of copying, as you've said, and the issue of responsibility of a parent to a child, as a parent, I think there is no way we may wish, or one may wish, to have their children live in a life that they don't wish. And suppose finances and environment does not allow our parents to provide as the children wish. Which is the advice that you should give to these children?
I believe as a parent, we need to live within our means. What you're able to provide, provide, and let the children understand. Although at times they may not understand.
They may not,
but live within your means. Don't overpromise. Don't put yourself in a situation where you're supposed to give the best and yet you are not able to give the best. I've come to realize that the generation that you are raising today are people who can understand if you communicate to them. They are people who can reason if you give them time. If you give them that opportunity, they'll be able to reason with you. They can understand why we are in this state. They can understand. And they can understand the efforts that you are putting to ensure that the family grows and the family attains the best. So it is a matter of engaging with them. It is a matter of ensuring that you give them the opportunity to tell you what are their views, what are their opinion with regards to maybe the issues of life.
And some will want to copy what their friends, parents are doing or are able to afford. Now you can advise such.
That is not practical, and especially most of the times this influence comes through the people, their friends. When your friend maybe is from a family that is well-to-do, or maybe your friend can get whatever they need at any given time, that will influence your child. And your child will come back to you and tell you, maybe
I see this and this.
Why is it that you're not providing this for me? That is why I said it is important for you to bring them to the understanding that as a father, this is what I'm able to provide. As a mother, this is what I'm able to provide. But who knows about tomorrow? Tomorrow, what you wish today may be availed or provided for tomorrow. So that understanding is key. But the understanding comes out of developing a one-on-one relationship with your kids. Creating that environment where they can speak to you, and again, you can speak to them.
Okay. Now, out of the 4 patterns of parenting, and I think we may call authoritarian a dictatorial way of parenting, if I'm not wrong. Is it right?
If we are what?
We call authoritarian style of parenting, we call it dictatorial. Is it?
It is one and the same thing. Depends with the application.
No, so out of the 4, which one would you advise, or even which would we go with pattern of parenting?
I think the choice is directly influenced by a parent, and again influenced by the environment where you are raising that kid, and again influenced by what you want this child to become. So before you make this choice, there are certain questions that you need to ask yourself. Because assuming you choose to be a dictator in the family, you need to ask yourself, what is the implication of being a dictator? If you choose to be a passive parent, you need again to ask yourself, what are the effects of this style of parenting? So I think my argument will be, it is important for us to keep a balance on these styles. It is important for parents to be careful on whatever style they choose to parent. It is important for the child to do even further assessment of whichever style they want to use, and ask themselves, if I choose on this style, then how am I affecting my kids? How am I raising them? Am I raising them in a way that is appropriate? Am I raising them to become better people tomorrow? So the choice of a style depends on the parent, and again depends on other factors that may be related to one family and not another family.
I think that is well answered, and we shall be getting back to you shortly. We want to read some of the comments that we are receiving here, but as we get back, we want to understand what support system is and what is included in the support system in parenting. So remember, you're watching the Spheres of Life, and this is understanding the dynamics of parenting. So some of the comments that we are receiving from you, those who are watching us right now, we have David Jue tuned in. We have Dina Mwania, good evening. Following as usual, welcome again, Sam. We've Joyce Kamau tuned, such a great topic. We've Mary Njeri tuned. We've Cosmas Mutinda tuned in. We have Jemima Kamota tuned in. We've Jennifer Mweni. This is the way to go in parenting. Patron Sam, our role model. We have Overflow Beddings and Furniture tuned in from Machakos County. We've Kate Wayua. Good evening, my patron. Tuned in from Redeemed Gospel Church, Kidunguri. I think there are people who are watching you. They're saying that you, patron, you can recognize them.
I think I want to appreciate my great team, the youth of TOG. You're great people. I love you. I treasure you. And I believe God will do the best for you, and will raise you to become the best parents in the future. Thank you very much for listening to us.
Thank you. So when it comes to the issue of support system, I want us to get back to the times. We may not be too old, but at the time that we were brought in, I think it was a kind of a dictatorship, but I think there were a lot of issues that fixed our parents to bring us up as they did. It was not their wishes you've mentioned. But I remember long ago when we were coming from primary school, and this is maybe after lunch, we are dismissed from school. When you are going home on your way, you meet parents. You had to step at the very farthest side of the road and to wait until a parent passes. Does that happen this time round? And again, then you could find, as I mess here, and another parent will punish me for the same, or even will correct me, maybe by beating me up in a way that is responsible, or even trying to bring back the responsibility that I could have taken.
I think when you talk about in support of what you're saying, back then a child was for the society, not for the parent. Meaning that a neighbor could correct you, a road passer could correct you, and such. But I believe such has changed. Today parents have created environments for their kids. Today parents have dictated what is right for my kid and what is not right for my kid. Today parents have created boundaries for their kids, meaning that if you are not within that circle, then you have no power, you have no right to tell my child anything or to correct my child. Is it good? It is not good. Why is it so? Some of the things that our parents go through as a result of us parents not being so careful, us parents not getting the support that we need to get from other parents. If we can get to a level where a child becomes the child to the society, then it could be better, because fear will be created in our children, that I cannot just do anything out there. I cannot say anything out there because there's someone who's watching. But nowadays, for example, I question my neighbor's child. There's a possibility my neighbor will come and question, why is it that you said this to my child? Why is it that you corrected this? So because of that, I get reserved, and I'll choose not to do so to avoid conflicts. But I believe
EBN TV, transforming your world.
From Nairobi, Kenya, this is EBN TV.
Welcome back to EBN TV, the Spheres of Life. Tonight's topic is understanding the dynamics of parenting. So our guest, we were on the point of the patterns of bringing up children then and now. So do you see there was an advantage of a child being a society's child?
I think the advantages outweighed the disadvantages.
Yeah.
Because such raising or such parenting instilled discipline among the children within the society or within the clan. Unlike today, where it is the sole responsibility of a parent to ensure that he dictates what is right for their kids. Most of the times you'll find kids, when their parents are not there, they have the freedom to do whatever they want to do because they don't fear any other parent. But if that collective responsibility could be there, then I think we could raise a good generation.
And what do you think we have got that transition that I don't want my child to be corrected by another parent?
I think it is a culture that we have cultivated with time. It is choices that we have made that my children are my children and nobody should say anything, nobody should question them, nobody should discipline them and such. And because of that, you find now parents have become so reserved when it comes to questioning other parents' kids. There is fear that has come that if I correct them, what will be the reaction of their parents? If I tell them this is wrong, what will be the reaction of their parents? So because of that, we choose to concentrate on our kids, or maybe the kids that are within our families.
And maybe I think you may correct you another parent's child. Maybe there are cases that may be input into you that you wanted to do this, or even you discipline my child this way, and maybe I do not expect you to do such. So I think because of lawsuits or cases that may be found in correcting the parents' children, I think that is where we are withholding. And my take could be that any punishment in a matter that is responsive to disciplining someone's child, I think it is not a corporal punishment or even a criminal punishment. So what I would wish it is that we get back to the same and we raise a society that is dependable. But it's all well. So what includes a support system in parenting?
I think there are different things. And I'll take you back to something that is so vital. There is the mental development of a child. There is the social development of a child. And there is the emotional aspect of a child. For you to raise a child who is complete, then those different aspects must be incorporated. In whatever you do as a parent, in whatever investment you make as a parent, you need to ask yourself, how are you supporting them physically? How are you supporting them mentally? How are you supporting them socially and emotionally? So if you're contributing to all these aspects, then you're providing the required support that will nurture and raise this child to a level where they can become responsible people and people who can be trusted in the future. So this support system may come in either social aspects, either psychological aspects, financial aspects, and such. So it varies from one parent to the other, depending on the ability and also depending on the capabilities of a family.
Okay. Now there are we need a society that if you send your child or even the environment does not allow you to be together because of maybe education or work, we need to raise we need to do a parenting whereby even if our children are too far from us, we can rely on them. As I remember during that time when our parents were so dictatorial, I remember we used to do things. Actually, we used to do like the children of Israel used to do in Egypt, and we did not complain. So I think we don't do the same thing as our parents used us in doing, because actually in one way they wanted to see that ends meet. They see there's something, no matter how small it is, on the table. But now things are becoming better because of technology and advancement, because of small education. People can afford some things. And on that note, you find there are a lot of challenges when it comes to parenting. During then and now, what are the challenges that you find in parenting right now?
I think one of the greatest challenge that parents are facing today is the influence of social media. Because you will find what is attracting kids more is what they learn from social media, not what the parent is telling them. And at times you will find that kids have chosen their role models, but on social media. Meaning that now the parent is not a role model anymore. It is what I get from that star, or it is what I get from that artist that is of value, other than what my parents is telling me. It is a big challenge because you'll find that this kid may know more than the parent. They may have greater exposure than the parent. So there are things that you tell them that don't make sense. Why? Because there's what they have learned. There's what they have watched. There's what their friends have shared. So at the end of the day, you find they don't take what you tell them to be of value, but they value more on what they get from.
And they have not met that maybe celebrity anywhere, and they don't know how they grew up.
They don't know that. You know what basically these kids will do? They just look at the face value. If they see a celebrity, they don't ask question, where is this celebrity coming from? They only look at what is the current state of this celebrity. They now begin to emulate this celebrity without asking those questions about where are they coming from, what is their life, what is their character and such. And with that, the parent now becomes like the secondary influence to the life of this child, other than being the primary influence.
Okay. When you mentioned about the issues of children being much informed than their parents, I remember one, I think it was a post on Facebook that kuna mtoto alienda akatisha mzazi pesa ya photosynthesis. And you see mzazi ajui photosynthesis nini, so they had to give out the money, which I think it is not good for a child, because when we were talking about the issue of neglectful or permissive parenting, it's like you leave your child go to school from your home, maybe they're in college, and they just dress whichever way they want. They don't care. So what is the advice that you can give for parents on dress codes when it comes to their children, and also actually both female and male?
Now as a parent, as I said, you need to be their role model. Whatever your son or your daughter does, to some extent, is a reflection of what you do.
True.
If they see me dressed well, if my son, for example, sees me dressed well,
he
will dress well. If my daughter sees the mother dress well, there's a possibility she will dress well. Because we are there to tell them why you dress the way you dress, and why you should not dress the way you want to dress. If you tell them the reasons, they are ready to understand. But again, the influence is more from what they see. If there is new fashion, which the parent may not know, they will come across that fashion on social media. And they will now tell the parent that this is what I want. Why is it so? Because my friends have it, or because I saw it. So for you to ensure that you direct them on the right path, it is telling them what is good and what is not good. It is advocating for good morals. It is by standing by what is right, not in the eyes of the parent, but also in the eyes of God. If that is so clear in their minds, I believe they'll come to the realization that I don't dress because others dress. I dress because, one, there's a character that I need to safeguard. There's a reputation that I need to safeguard and such. And when that is clear in their minds, I think they'll get to a point of choosing to do what is right at all times.
Yeah, that's great. And I think next time, if we get time, we shall be handling the issues of single parenting and the responsibility of both parents in parenting or even bringing up their children. So remember, our audience, this is EBN TV, the Spheres of Life, the topic, understanding the dynamics of insurance. And to notify you that one Reverend Felix Tavoy has hosted a couple's dinner at Redeemed Gospel Church, Buruburu. If you can rush there, you can find. And the charges are only 1,500 shillings. So you can bring your spouse there and enjoy a dinner tonight. It is sumptuously served with good meals. So welcome to that place, and you shall just enjoy. So because of time, I think we shall be ending there. But before we switch off, our guest will be having the final word and maybe saying hi to 2 or 3 people and promising us to come back and handle most of the important issues when it comes to the factor of parenting.
So thank you once again. I think my part in short will be, because we are gifted by God with these wonderful kids, we need to ask God for grace to raise them in the right way. That is why the scripture says that our children shall be taught of God. In other terms, we have the responsibility of exposing them to environments where they are going to be taught of God, environments that will shape them in a positive or in a negative way. So even as we come to the end, I want to pass my greetings. First to my lovely wife, and my lovely children, Kezia and Tamar, and also the family that I mentioned earlier, the family of the youth of TOG. Feel blessed and feel loved. So thank you very much.
You're most welcome, and thank you for having your time, and thank you for gracing this occasion. We are such honored here at EBN TV. Thank you, our audience. You've been watching EBN TV. This is the Spheres of Life. The topic is understanding the dynamics of parenting, because we said parenting is very important, and we come every Sunday from 7:30 to 8:15 to make sure that the stories that you're making here are lifting you, are informing you, and one way or the other, we may also entertain you, because entertaining you is trying to fix you in a place where you feel you fit. So we are happy tonight for having you. Thank you for your suggestions. Thank you for your comments that you've sent through our social media platforms. Until next time, Jeff Kimayu.